when I first started tattooing. So my name is Ziggy. If you've never been on this channel before, I'm Ziggy and I've been tattooing for 11 years now, and I'm a studio owner in UK Derby. And when I first ever started tattooing, I remember I was thinking about the skin as the skin, and I didn't thought really much of it. Only like when I realized, when I'm working, I realized something's not working. Something's not going as I planned to go. And I could not figure out what was wrong, why it didn't go in, why when I pull a line, the line is not in there, or it's too much in there, or it get absorbed too fast. And I was like, what is it happening, or what's the variant that changes that I can't understand? What do I need to do wrong to make it happen? Because when I line on some people, it goes in. I line on some other people, it doesn't go in. I line on the same person, like totally elsewhere, and it doesn't go in. And then I do like a little bit higher, and it goes in. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, or what I'm not doing, or what's happening, or what's wrong with me? And so many like problems go through my head, so many question marks and so many unanswered questions that I don't know what's happening. And which led me to think and like visualize. Imagine like skin is like small balls, tiny balls. Well, it is in a sense of like it's molecules. So molecules are little balls holding it onto each other in a sense, and molecules have gaps in between them. So which led me to think, what if the skin in different body parts is not as the skin in different body parts? Which now, when you think of it, like, yeah, it makes sense, duh, like, how can you not think of this? But when you're lining, you assume skin is the skin, and it should go in as it just did. Whereas, I think this habit comes from when we used to draw on a paper, or draw on an iPad. The paper is paper, the paper doesn't change, you just draw higher, lower, left, right. But when you line lines on a paper, they all work the same. And even when you did the shading higher, lower, or like on the bottom of the page or the top of the page, it just did exactly the same as everywhere on the page, because paper is the same. And nothing changes, there's no variable what change the way you would line on the paper. Whereas if you line on a human skin, it does change. And when it does change, there's like an error in our brain saying, whoa, what's happening? I don't understand, something's wrong, like what happens? And that's the moment when we freak out. It's only because when we first started doing, we assume that there is no change. Well, we don't really expect the change, and we don't even think that could actually happen, because when you think about skin, you don't think about skins as in multiple, as in 5, 6, 17 different skins. I don't even know how many. I've not really sat down and thought about it, how many, what would be the number of different skins you have, but you would have multiple different skins, as in the skin on the foot would be different than skin on the shin. The shin skin will be different than on a calf. The calf skin will be different than a knee, and the knee will be different than behind the knee, the ditch, or the thigh, or the hip, or the stomach. Like I would say every single body part that I just called, or every body part that you can think of, would have a different skin type. I don't know, maybe if I would talk to a dermatologist who really studies the skin, he would know like more precise, and those would not be assumptions. Maybe they have a names, but which means like it's like roads. Different road has different sides, a different road has different speed, and rarely when you go from 40 mile per hour road you turn left and it's still 40. Mostly it changes. And same is tattooing, where in our heads we assume that it should be exactly the same as it just was. As in, like, if I tattoo on a shin, then I'm like, okay, this goes in nice, then it should be nice. And then when you go a little bit left or right, you assume, why is it not going in nice? But the skin is different, which means you need to be different. You need to become different all the time. As in, you need to go slower, faster, push a little bit more, ease off a little bit, and you have to change your settings, as in like you as a human, how you tattoo, more often than you think, because you are in a different areas, which means different skin types are presented to you. And at the beginning, you just think skin. It just is one big organ, blah blah blah. And when you pull a line, the line should work, and you feel weird when the line doesn't work, but you just apply the wrong settings in the wrong area. And you should have stretched more or stretched less. Like, don't overstretch too far, because then you slice the skin open. Or you need to really like pull skin aside, and then some areas that do not pull skin aside. And over years and years and years, I've kind of like realized that one, we have different skin types in every single different body part. But even then, I feel like those skin types have different condensity of the skin. So imagine if the skin is small little balls right next to each other. Imagine if some areas are really compressed, like really squeezed together. So when you have like a 5-liner and you pull a line, those lines squeeze the line even smaller, and the 5 just looks like a 3. And you're like, huh? That's way too thin. I didn't want that thin. I wanted thin line, but this one's like too thin. Or in some areas, the skin is not condensed, but I don't know what's the word, but like loose. Those balls are more away from each other, which then creates the gaps between the lines too big or like bigger, which means the ability for those lines to be fulfilled with the ink is bigger, because now if the balls have these little tiny gaps in between, if the gaps is bigger, all this big gap can be filled with the ink, which means when you pull a line, the line will go boom and thick, and you're like, shit, I didn't want that thick line. Like, I wanted a thick line, but this one's like a bold line. And that could be a trouble as well, because I've had many times where I'm lining in one area, it's all cool and all fine, and then I go elsewhere, and that liner now just became like a monster. It like thickened double or triple, and I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? And then I need to like mask my problem now to like ease off and and it's only because the skin's condensity changes. And I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. I'm pretty sure, I'm not like a skins expert, but in 11 years I've noticed all sorts of like anomalies. But what I'm saying is, when you pull lines and when you are like tattooing people, you have to expect that different body part have a different name, and if that different body part has a different name, you most likely will need to change settings of how you tattoo, and you need to become different body part, different settings, different tattooing, different pressure, different speed, different all of it. Like, all of it has to be different, because it's different body part. And even the same body part, the top section, the bottom section changes the way that ink gets in, and you then have to change. And if you think of it, even if you practice on a fake skin, the fake skin's condensity is equal. At least the companies try to make it equal, so you can, when you work on it, nothing change, blah blah blah. And if like if the fake skin's condensity would change, you would complain, you would like message the company, you would say, your fake skin doesn't work, one area it goes in, one area doesn't go in, what's wrong with it, blah blah blah. I want to buy the skin that it works. But then that is fake, as in that it's not real. Humans change, humans condensity change. It goes in, it doesn't go in, it kind of goes in, goes too good. And on a fake skin, it's equal. I mean, on a paper, it's equal. On the sketchbook, it's equal. And it kind of gave you the wrong idea of the wrong expectations of the wrong things, what's going to happen, because that is not what's going to happen. And probably the best thing, what compensates all of that, what helps you the most to make it as equal as possible, is stretching. And some body parts are naturally stretched. So like calves, because the muscle from inside out pushes outwards, it has like a stretch the skin as balloon, so it goes in easier. Whereas if you do like a forearm muscles or upper arm muscles, they're not as big. They're not really one big muscle, so it's not going to go in as easy. But then you have to compensate that, and you have to stretch. And I would say stretching is the most important thing, what makes all of it equal, because then you have no bounce, you have no skin shivering, you have equal depth, as in every hit the needle hits inside hits equal amount. So when your line where it heals nice, and it heals equal, and it heals just one black line. And the skin's condensity can change, it will change, but when you stretch, you can at least control that. Like when you stretch properly, not just like put the hands on just because it says on the YouTube put the hands on and pull a line between, but like stretch it, like really, like rip it open so it doesn't make even the slightest bounce. The skin gets as tight as the fake skin would be, and then you just like put a line in between, and it's cool. And speaking about fake skins, I am in conversations with a few companies that maybe, hopefully, I will release my own fake skins, where I want to. There's like certain things that I want the fake skin to have, and then hopefully we're gonna make it happen. And I don't know if you know or you don't know, but we have schools account where I teach people how to tattoo, and we go more in depth of lining, shading, packing, and you will be able to see, well, you are able, those videos are up there already, and you are able to watch what I do, how I do, why I do, all these nano decisions that goes in my head as I'm pulling lines, as I'm shading, all of these thoughts that I'm thinking, I'm trying to film it and speaking out loud, making those decisions. If you want to see me tattooing up close, explaining every little step I do, and go more in depth about tattooing, what is tattoo machines, tattoo needles, grips, wrapping tapes, lining, shading, how to do whip shades, all like everything about tattooing, it's gonna be on the school's account. I'm gonna put a link in the description here where you can just go there and check it out. The way it works is you pay it's basically like Netflix, where you pay one fee and you have access to all these videos anytime, any place. This website has an app, so you can just download the app and you can log in anytime, any place, wherever you are. And you can be in a train and watch me lining, and you can be in, I don't know, traveling or in a bedroom or whatever, anytime, headphones in, you can watch and you can listen and you can learn, and yeah, it's all there for you guys. Speaking about fake skins, we might have fake skins, and I'm thinking about needle company as well, because there are few ideas that I want to have, that I want to implement in boxes and cartridges themselves. So maybe in soon future we're gonna have a fake skin company, and we're gonna have a cartridge company as well. And how they work, will they work, I'll show all this on this channel. Plus it's gonna be on Instagram, which also I'm gonna link it. And if you go on Instagram, I have hundreds, I think 200 now this moment, videos of every single aspect of tattooing. So even if you go through like top to bottom, I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot from that Instagram itself. And even Instagram is linked to that school's account, where you can learn more in depth about tattooing. Think about the different aspects of the skin, that different body part will have different skin, because each body part has a different name, and different body parts functions are different. Some body parts are built to stretch, some body parts are built to like protect you, as in like armor, as a shield. Like the whole job is to not let bacteria inside you. Some body parts job is just to be there. Like when you think about rib cage and stomach, like you're not gonna get beaten up there too much. No one's gonna punch you, no one's gonna kick you, no one's gonna stab you, well, sometimes. But like, the amount of damage you're gonna get on the ribs is not a lot. Whereas if arms, outer thighs, upper arms, you bump into things all the time, so the skin's thicker and stronger and more condensed. Try to keep that in mind, yeah. Different body type has a different name, and that different name means there's different skin type. Different skin condensity, different amount of the skin, different elasticity, I think that's the name. Another thing about skins is the ones what goes in nice, like you know these people, you pull a line, it goes in beautiful, like a lot. It's only because the skin is quite loose. The gaps between the skin molecules are quite wide open, which means it goes in nice. But the problem is they blur the most because they physically have the ability to blur, because there's loads of gaps where the ink pigment can like blow out. And it's not like you did a blowout, it's just naturally it has like place to expand. Imagine if you drop like a pancake on the floor and it just like just explodes sideways. That just happens in those people when the skin is like a sponge. It's not really condensed where when like the ink will be squeezed in and it doesn't have anywhere to go. On those people it can go wherever. Like the condensity is so small that the ink pigment just goes wherever he pleases and wherever he finds like the easiest way to go, and then it goes. And then on those people you gotta be careful how much ink you put in, because you have to expect those lines to get a lot thicker just because it goes in super easy, and if it goes super easy then it will blur up and it will thicken itself and it will get bolder. So just something to be aware of, yeah. And if you have any skin type questions, any skin questions, drop that in comment section. I might make a video about it. I might just answer you on a video or answer you in the comment section. Till then, I'll see you in the next video.